What are the non-obvious signs of a smart person? Nuance in their understanding of things. Yep, smart people rarely make big absolute statements about anything. They acknowledge areas where they lack knowledge. Never pretend to know something when you don't is something I always teach. Covers lying and ignorance. Talking to a dumb person will make you feel smart. Talking to a smart person will make you feel dumb. Talking to a very smart person will make you feel smart. I was just talking with my wife about my CEO and how he shares a tray with my uncle, who is also a CEO. It's one I've observed with a lot of smart and successful leaders. The common trait is that whenever I speak with them, they make me feel really smart. They genuinely come off like they learned something from me. It makes me feel good. It's a hell of a skill. We were discussing if it's something that can be learned and practiced. From what I can tell, it's about being honest about what you don't know, realizing when someone may know more about something, asking a lot of good questions, and expressing gratitude that the other person shared their knowledge with you. Nice try, BuzzFeed. I found one carrot. They tend to be, at least in my experience, more open to criticism or being shown facts that change their opinions on things. I don't know if that really falls under smart or more of a wise trait. I'd say wise, but often those who are wise are smart, just not the other way around due to people being arrogant. Being able to acknowledge when they're wrong. This and also being able to admit I don't know. Larger dendrites in the frontal and temporal lobes. You're a front lobe. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of guts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Charles Bukowski. That's actually a misquote of Bertrand Russell. The fundamental cause of trouble in the world today is that the stupid are cocksure, while the intelligent are full of doubt. Admitting when they're wrong. Updating their opinion/beliefs when presented with proper evidence. I don't know about this one. Met plenty of smart people in my life, many of them unable to admit they're wrong. You can be extremely smart and an enormous a-hole. In fact, the two coincide often. Edit. Lots of quibbling over what smart actually means. My only point is this: truly intelligent people are not always guaranteed to be humble. They are often arrogant or stubborn. That doesn't change the fact that they are intelligent. It's worth accepting in life there are people smarter or more capable than you who aren't good people. Virtue isn't a guarantor of excellence and vice versa. The ability to see both sides of the coin, rather than just one side. What about the third side? Never forget the third side. They won't argue with stupid people. Even if they know they're right, they won't do it. It's impossible to win against a stupid person. They're too stubborn and never have the self-awareness to know they're wrong. Edit. Probability is half of the people who upvoted this are stupid. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Just let that sink in. Till that Reddit has not met a lot of smart people. Reddit has a lot of teenagers. And teenagers often think they know the answer to questions like this, even though their experience is limited. So a lot of these answers sound like a kid's version of what a smart person is. They realize not everyone is smart the same way. Your stupid hick neighbor might have dropped out of school in 8th grade, but he can drive your car once and tell you exactly what's wrong, then fix it. That a-hole in school that had no empathy for anyone and showed no emotion made that sci-fi chiz you thought would never be real. Yeah, she's dingy and her worldview is tiny, but she's the best teacher you've ever met and inspires tons of kids to go on and do great things with themselves. There's no one size fits all answer here really. Edit. Wow, my first gold. Thanks guys, I'm glad so many people feel this. Edit again. This really got a lot of attention, so again, thanks for all the awards and thoughtful comments, whether you agree or not. I use this analogy regularly with my high school students. I have college degrees, and I'm relatively intelligent in some ways. My brother is a brilliant mechanic. When my car breaks down on the side of the road, I call him to come fix it. Which one of us is the smart one? Edit. Brakes. I feel like I can't think of an answer for this one without immediately thinking of multiple contradictory examples. I've spent my entire adult life in academia, and there really isn't a unifying characteristic of all of the highly successful people I have met. I suppose if I were trying to get a sense of someone in an interview setting, I would look for evidence of active listening and ability to ask critical questions on the fly. That said, I know some pretty smart people who are perpetually distracted listeners. I think that's because our definition of smart is so nebulous. Is being smart about knowing lots of things? Is it about being a good learner or a quick learner? Do smart people have innate talent, or have they worked for years to achieve their success? Is having academic intelligence smart? What about emotional intelligence? You might call someone who can memorize things quickly smart, but you'd also call someone who can work out problems quickly smart. It's smart to take a long time to figure out a clever solution to the same problem. Does studying make you smart? Take 2 straight A students. One studies for hours, and the other is able to pick up subject material quickly and cram with little supplemental work. Which one is smarter? I think smart is a catch-all word for describing a lot of different mental states and dispositions, but, especially during grade school, it's reduced down to certain kinds of success. Pattern recognition. Part of the reason smart people throughout history are well known is because they discovered something new and figured out how to maximize its potential. Darwin was a guy who discovered a bunch of islands with slightly different animals. He then collected and analyzed that data to come up with the theory of evolution, which was largely correct. Einstein's theory of relativity was based off of his observation that physics acted on everything equally. He figured out that exceptions were because of the way high-speed objects interact with the universe's speed limit, the speed of light. He recognized these exceptions by gathering them and recognizing the pattern between them all, then created his theory of relativity based on that. I'd say that the faster and/or deeper a person can recognize patterns, the smarter they are. Patterns are in everything: music, math, video games, really any computer program by its very nature, language. Don't get caught up in unnecessary arguments. Definitely not. They can be smart enough to see when it is pointless, but I've known plenty of super smart folks who enjoy arguing for the sake of arguing. Often they may not even care about the topic or which side they take, but enjoy the act of arguing. Smart enough to know when arguing is pointless if your goal is to change the other's mind, yes. But smart doesn't make one automatically hate debate. They'll listen to the other's facts and points and take them into account when giving an objection, and then manipulate by turning those facts against you. Ha 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 ha. They know how to explain concepts on just about any level, tailoring that level to their intended audience, and without coming across as condescending in any way. The condescending part is more personality based, but you quickly find out how well you actually know something when you try to explain it simply to someone else. Non-obvious sign. I would have to say emotional intelligence. Most people picture a smart person being like the typical movies nerd that is really smart at everything except social interactions or flirting, but that's not the case. Really smart people can also pick up on social cues faster and better than regular people. Take Richard Feynman for example. He was really smart, but was also very sociable. Don't forget about Einstein, allegedly a compulsive womanizer. They're happy to be wrong about something, and then will take the time to learn about the subject. The same will go for politics. Rather than just dismissing the other person's opinion, they'll take the time to understand it. This is just having a good attitude and willingness to learn. Way more important than being smart BTW. But lots of dumb people do this, and lots of smart people don't. They are often not very obvious. In fact, I'd venture to say they would have to be not obvious in order to qualify. The smartest people I have known were somewhat reserved. Smart equals not a dumb A. Has nothing to do with some educated, obsessive, extrovert. Close bracket. Red Foreman, is that you? They walk a lot, I've noticed. Stephen Hawking would like to know your location. Lateral thinking. The ability to think about some subject and then switch gears effortless into some other subject and keep them tied together in some way. This can lead to some ambling conversations, but that's always fascinating. If we say smart as in creative, some of the folks I've worked with will in a conversation work through the pros and cons and explore, or be able to explore, ideas in some depth with just the conversation. As opposed to doing next steps, they dive right in and want to get to something cool, and they can do so beyond some bullshit surface level conversation. This is amazing. When you take a smart person from another field and explain your problem to them, oftentimes they will have some tried and true method that they can offer up that's novel to you, because your discipline/experience is sufficiently different from theirs. If we talk about real nuggets of gold, this would be among them. Not usually variative on sometimes their area or areas of expertise. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with super smart people who know some subject matter cold and will let some lesser opinion take hold because they didn't it themselves. I've seen people leave firms rather than have to deal with some bad manager or co-worker who had less good ideas, but who is more vocal about them. So often really smart people will take some non-trivial measure of joy in work which most other people find ridiculously boring or tedious, appreciate the write-up. They know when to talk and when to listen. They know when to hold them and occasionally when to fold them. They don't boast about their knowledge because they're smart enough to know no one really cares. I think it's more that they know enough to know that they are far from knowing everything. Sometimes just silence. Silence is a powerful aphrodisiac. Self-critical and humorous. Self-irony. Aka self-defecating humor. They usually don't scream when they talk. They don't start physical fights. They stop arguing when they realize that someone is desperately dumb. They learn from their mistakes. Not trying to say I'm smart, I'm in fact a ducking idiot, but my defense is that when I talk, sometimes I'm told I'm too quiet, sometimes I'm told I'm too loud, and it's just ducking breaking me. They don't feel that they're intelligent, whatever that means. Seriously, can anyone give me a proper, personal definition of an intelligent person? While they know they are smarter than the average person, they also know there are people way smarter than them in any given subject or multiple subjects. It's often the quality of questions they ask to help you come to a strong conclusion despite knowing the answer or how exactly to get it. Not constantly bragging about their intelligence. If they truly are smart, people can figure that out pretty quickly without them doing anything to show it. You generally only brag about things you're insecure about because you seek validation. If you are very comfortable with your intelligence, then you may not care if someone misinterprets you and makes you look dumb or something. You have nothing to prove. That's not just for intelligence but for anything. A smart person doesn't tell people that he or she is smart. I don't think that is the case, and neither do I think that should be the case. Saying that you're smart is a point where people easily think that you're arrogant. I don't understand why it should be allowed to talk positive about yourself regarding any trait but intelligence. Having conversations with your peers, for example about grades in university, one's intelligence is gonna come up. And in situations like this, I don't get why you shouldn't talk about intelligence. An attention span longer than 5 seconds says a lot about a RIC what you. Smart, knows the answers, is interested in new things, understands ideas and is receptive, copies things/ideas accurately, highly intelligent, never stops questioning everything, is highly curious not just interested, and is very good in abstract thinking, is highly critical of him or herself and others and is intense, creates new things/ideas etc. The best person to argue with is yourself. I like to argue with myself. I ask myself very interesting questions. Notice I said argue not talk. When thinking about something, argue with yourself, just not out loud. In my experience, they tend to be really funny. I agree. I think the smart people are even more funny than stupid people because smart people understand the complexity behind humor and can make their jokes reflect that. Before speaking, they organize their thoughts for cogency. It's more the opposite for many really intelligent people. They think so much in depth or want to get out the stuff they know, go further into details so fast, the opposite can't keep up. While they are still thinking about the problem, the other one has already the resolution. IDK how to explain it better. Smart people send me cash in the mail. HMM. Wearing a mask correctly. Wearing a mask correctly. Wearing a mask. Realizing literally no one's actually that smart, just in some areas. Even Stephen Hawking was kind of an a-hole. Edit, misspelled his name. I want my surgeon to fix my broken leg, but I won't trust him to fix my broken roof. They know exactly what they don't know. I'm super smart cause I know I don't know anything. Minds their own business. This is a big one. They keep to themselves and deal with their own drama. Raise a sharp sense of humor. I think at the very least is more likely to be good at observational humor. Intelligent people find patterns and make connections better than others. Haven't use a broadly diverse collection of swear words. They say swearing is indicative of a poor vocabulary. I say that they are presumptuous, ideologically unsound methodicas. When somebody's not the sort of person who needs to go into AskReddit threads hoping to pick out only the specific answers that apply to them so they can say to themselves, see, I knew I was subtly smart. Yes, this is a personal attack to you specifically reading this right now. I feel attacked. They don't tell their nemesis their plan. They just kill them and get on with their business. Yes, all smart people are Owens. Patience. Smart people don't yell during an argument. Never. They actually wait to listen to the other person's argument. They want to get to the truth more than they want to be right. I have to disagree. I've had professors who were at the top of their field scream at each other. When you have studied something for years and know the ins and outs of it perfectly, then some idiots tell you you're wrong based off nonsense. Most will lose their composure. You may be mistaking wisdom with intelligence. Imposter syndrome. The smart people are often the ones who don't think they are smart enough to be in the room. Sort of the opposite of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Ability to objectively debate both sides of an argument. I can do that. No, I can't. They accept the times when they are wrong and are willing to learn from the others. Humility and a thirst for knowledge. Believe it or not, average or above average students are often smarter than those with the straight A's on the report cards. They do enough to par well and get what they want, but don't let the academic system control them. Life isn't all about booksmarts. This shows they are independent thinkers and don't get wrapped up in designed systems. Not all, but many. Many kids who are forced to always be exceptional in school can end up the worst off and can develop deeper issues. Sometimes that is true. That said, I knew a fair number of average students who considered themselves smart, gave an explanation like this for why they didn't do any better, but they also didn't really get what they want. They weren't making a principled stand against a system, they just never learned to work hard and took to the self-flattery for the sake of saving face. I also wouldn't underestimate the people who do well in school, who also recognize that getting high grades isn't the be-all of their life, but if it helps them get where they're going. They don't speak at the start nor in between. They observe everything till the end and then make their conclusions. Wonder what it would look like to have two intelligent people talk in that case. They just stare at each other awkwardly, I guess. They tend to talk less and don't really argue. One of the best examples I've seen was an author responding to a Twitter troll. She just said, I get cheated when I exchange words with someone whose words have no value. Spend money to save time versus spending time to save money. Shut up, EA. Smart person will just shut the duck up when nunts want to argue with their chiz logic. Benjamin Einstein. Calmness. Emotional control and ego can be put ed when needed. Isn't that more for emotional intelligence? You can definitely be very intelligent without being very calm. Empathy. I have experienced the opposite. I'm just thinking back to my PhD program. So many professors and students were absolutely devoid of empathy. None of them were malicious or mean. They just had trouble with understanding the perspectives and feelings of others, and that would manifest through unintended insults and other things of that nature. Knowing when to speak and knowing when to listen. Eager to learn. Observant. Disciplined and hardworking. You had me till hardworking. A smart person can still be lazy as duck, but they will design things or do things a smart way just to be lazy again. They actually listen to who they are talking to as opposed to waiting for their turn to talk. I heard they curse more often than the average guy. That's absolutely true in my case. I curse all day every day. I'm not sure about being smart though. Silence. They wear masks. People who understand that cancelling, intimidating, and adulting those with whom you disagree only makes things worse. Being super witty with quick comebacks. A lot of the smarter people I've met just have natural wit. Crippling depression. There's a high correlation between intelligence and humor. They're able to realize how much of a dumber they truly are. Anxiety and sarcasm. Being able to actually debate, not having an outraged emotional response to a dissenting opinion, or even something heinous for that matter. Sang Freud. Knowing when to admit fault/take responsibility. Having patience and waiting for the other person to finish talking before saying their opinion in a discussion/debate. Most likely the quiet person who does their work/has already finished their work and is pretending to be busy in order to get paid for doing nothing. I'm gonna keep it above 50 with y'all. 99% of these answers are just personality traits. I've seen tons of very smart people who are easily pulled into meaningless arguments. It's not a sign of intelligence to show you can keep your composure and walk away when something becomes redundant. That's a sign of discipline. Really, this should call for what defines a smart person. From the looks of it, most of Reddit thinks calm and collected equals intelligent. I can easily tell you it doesn't. Plenty of really calm people who can walk away from things only walk away because they don't want to hear that they're wrong. Same with accepting that you're wrong. That means virtually nothing in intelligence. Some of the brightest people I know ducking hate being told they're wrong. Given the evidence, they'll change their opinion, but not until they die on their hill. This thread is just pointing out very common traits among people so they can pat themselves on the back. Hey look ma, I'm smart. Some people on Reddit said I was. Mispronouncing words. A lot of people who read a lot mispronounce words at first because they've never heard them spoken out loud. They forget or do not notice small things because their brain is so focused on deeper, more important matters. Or they are hint of autism/anxiety and notice every little thing when trying to solve a problem and every scenario that could happen. They try to focus on the main idea, but realize it's made up of a ton of little ideas that need to go just right to feed into the main idea. Without the little things going as they should, the main idea is useless. Non-reactivity. Having your own way of doing things because it's the right way. They are so well-rounded that they can function in several environments with relative ease. They are ever changing. They can quickly identify patterns in a behavioral or analytical space, successfully compartmentalize different aspects of their lives, etc. When they repeat your idea back to you to make sure they understood it correctly. When they wait for you to finish speaking and pause to think before responding. Oftentimes so many people think they need to respond quickly and or interrupt people before determining if what they want to say is correct/has value/is relevant. They use words like hella and bro a lot. Bro, that's hella right. I think wit is usually a sign of intelligence. People don't often associate with smart. People with witty humor in conversation I typically find to be super intelligent after some digging. Edit specification. I was about to type out a long-winded comment about the 9 different types of intelligence in psychology, Howard Gardner's model, but halfway through the comment I opened a ramen packet too hard and sent dried ramen flying everywhere, and I no longer feel qualified to speak on the topic of intelligence. Oh my, you watched until the end? That's fucking awesome, dude. Thanks for watching.